Hello everyone and welcome back to Beaglington-On-Sea. Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to Beaglington-On-Sea. And thank you once again to everyone who comments, likes, shares and subscribes to my videos. It really does mean a lot. And so we've got a lot of progress to make on the railway, and you might be able to see over there, you'll probably see it, but the counter is now down to 19 days into Xmas. So, right, I think it's the 6th of December now. Gonna run some trains, and then I'm gonna start on the laborious task of turning these cliffs into cliffs by covering up the frame with newspaper and PVA, putting it quite messy. So hopefully the track will be alright and won't get covered in glue. So I'm going to run some trains first for you, and then we can get on with, the scenic work. So I've got some trains set up on the line here. I have got the Ruston 88DS, and my 48DS is not working still. But I have seen that some places now have motors as spares, so I'm going to test mine again. If the motor really is dead, I might try and get another motor to fix that in the new year. So we've got the Ruston going off there, and then on this line I've got the London Transport Prairie L150 on a sort of suburban kind of BR train. Going backwards apparently. There we are. So I'll get some footage of those running, and then I'll also swap in the other trains that I have here. So I have the 2MT 46521 with a van train, probably full of Christmas presents, and we've got Stepney on some Hornby generic LBSD coaches, and a Great Western one thrown in for good measure, because the Hatton 6-wheeler at the moment doesn't like that side of the other side of the railway, so I'm not using that in this train. So I'm going to get these going. The Rustons stopped, so I'll get them going. Anyways, roll on! Right, well, I suppose I'll set those frames now, so do empty there, and set me back into the station there. There we are. Cat hens on the railway, just by hoovering it. There you go. Right, so those have run. It's time to crack on with the cliff again. Okay, so I'm going to roll my sleeves up, and as you can see, I've prepared the area a little bit. I've got to cover up the track this side in a minute. And what I'll do is I'll switch over to, I've got the handy cam to film while I'm working, so the tripod doesn't go funny while I'm doing it. Basically, I've got these here to protect everything else. I've got a dish here with a tiny bit of water in it. I've got my PVA here, or my craft glue, or whatever it is. And I'm going to pour that into there. Get a good load of it in there, like that. And then it's going to get very messy. I have a box of pre-prepared strips. So that's my box here. I have shorter strips and more squarish strips, and then longer ones over here in various widths. They're going to be what I lay on the frame. I've got a bit of kitchen paper here in case I need to pack out any of it, a little bit extra, but I'll see how that goes. So I'm going to cover that up, switch over to speed up film, and I'm basically just going to mix this water and PVA together, rub it on the strips and put it on. But you'll see it's sped up. Right, well, after that speed up section, you can see it's going to take a long time. So I'm actually going to crack on off camera and get this done. But before I do, I'm just going to show you a close-up of the bit that I've just done speeded up, just to explain a little bit about what I've been doing. Set this up to show the different packing techniques that I'm using. I've got some bulky kitchen paper that's been dipped in a bit of glue and just stuck there. Here, what I'm doing is I'm filling in these sections with scrunched up newspaper and then laying these over the top. This will take the worst of the sort of unnatural shape of the card out of it, but with successive layers I'm hoping it will kind of give it rock contours. I've done it before, it worked all right. Obviously each time you do it is new, so you never know how it's going to turn out. Over here you can see I'm packing in any strips that get stuck to me that aren't particularly useful. They just get stuffed into these corners. That helps build it up and it stops the wastage as well. And then here you can see I've actually added in a section. That's where the cliff kind of comes down here. So we'll have the tunnel portal will come into this corner here. And it also gives a bit of separation early on of the branch from the main lines. It does disrupt the view somewhat when looking like this, but it also gives more of an appearance of the trains at the back disappearing, which gives a change of scene, I think, between when it emerges on the other side of the hill, somewhere completely different. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I built this up, as you might have seen in the sped up footage, just with extra bits of newspaper and extra bit of card there. And so I will keep building this up now, and I will show you what it looks like when the first coat is finished, because it's going to take a while. And I mean a while. So I'm going to put on some music and enjoy myself. So as you can see, it's starting to take some form now. And it's still a little bit damp, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some neater PVA, so I'm not going to put any water in it now, and do another layer of newspaper, and that should make it hard enough, I'd say.
and then I might get on to painting it. But for now, we're going to welcome back to an episode of Beaglington-On-Sea Alex at the desk, who's going to show you something that he got in England, I think. So I'm going to hand over to Alex now. Yes, hello everyone, and welcome back to the desk with me, Alex, at the desk. And I've just got a couple of things I picked up while I was in England, so I'm going to change the camera over to look at the desk and show you what I've got. So yes, I was over in the UK visiting family, and I went to DJ Collectibles in Stowmarket. You might remember a previous video, I got a Class 73 second-hand there, which I managed to service a bit, give it new traction tyres, and it runs very nicely. So, what did I get this time? And this is just some kitchen paper I got from my mum to wrap the things in. I have got, go with this one first, a van. So this is the Hornby vent van. I believe this is like the railroad one. The number certainly puts me in the mind of the NE van, but it doesn't have any markings, so I'm thinking maybe this is from one of the train packs that they did, or perhaps a train set. But it's just a nice plain grey wagon with a number which is kind of bright, and it's just something that I thought would look good in a train with, for instance, my railroad NE wagon. I just, I like vans, and it needs coupling hooks. I don't know if I've got any spare. There's no really other information I can give you on this other than that it's very light, but it's not too bad. So I've got that one, and then I have something else, which we can open up here, is a open wagon Duxbury Park Colliery. And the small print says, empty to Adlington Junction, I think. And then I can't read what's on that little plate there, but I assume it will be legible if you could actually zoom in far enough. Number 191. So it's a nice red wagon. And, I saw it and I was like, it was in a cabinet. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'll pick that up. So I think they were like £5 each or something like that, which is not bad, really. And, it's a little bit dusty, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Metal wheels, they both have metal axles, which is good. So, yeah, just a nice little addition to the railway in time for Christmas. So hopefully I'll get those running once the cliff is sorted for the end of the episode. So I'll give those to Alex. Yeah. Quite neat, really. Right, anyways, we'll see how Alex is getting on with the newspaper. Yes, thank you, Alex. Well, now we have the second coat gluing, starting to dry. It's dry in some areas, so I'm going to crack on and do the first layer of white. I'll probably need to do at least 2 layers of white. It's just this basic Crawford and Black acrylic paint that you get in the works. And this is going to be, I'm just going to use this takeaway container. We're probably going to end up using quite a lot of white for this. And I've got a 2-inch brush. And I'm basically just going to, paint it on, and then after that I'll do green on the top of areas where there's going to be grass. And if I've got leftover paint after I've done the first coat of white, I might mix in a bit of black and do some grey areas around, sort of just to get rid of the bare board look. So I'll move the camera and we can probably switch to speed it up, and I can do a bit of painting. Right, so the white paint has now dried, and as you can see, it's not a perfect coat. This is after 2 coats, and the paint that I'm using just doesn't seem to want to take to the surface, even the surface of its own self. It's not as good as I want it to be. So while that was drying anyways, I used this paint that I used for painting the track before, the highest quality acrylic paints Icon Bird Sienna, it's actually the colour. I used that to do all the rail chairs, and that was a bit time consuming because each sort of rail chair is made up of sort of 2 pieces that you have to paint either side of each rail. There are 24 sleepers on a normal, I think it's an R600 straight from Hornby. Sorry, there are 24 sleepers, which means there's 96 little bits to paint. So I ended up painting between sort of 10 and 20,000 little blobs of paint, which was very time consuming. But that's done now, and I've done the branch line. I've actually done some of this paint on the sides of the rails as well to give a sort of rusted, unlooked after sort of kind of look. So anyways, yes, the paint. We have a bit of a problem with the white paint. So I picked up some of this Easy Home chalk paint in town, which says for decoration and design, it's a matte finish, and apparently it will do 1 metre squared. But the point is that it says chalk paint, and they're meant to be chalk cliffs. So hopefully that will work well in its favour. So I'm going to get on and spray that now. I'm going to move the track that I can move out of the way, and then put some newspaper down over the rest of the track and give it a spray and see how that goes. So yeah, I've not used this before, but we'll see whether it's any good. It's looking a bit better. And here we have the finished painted cliff, except for the grass one that has to go on the top. I've painted some greenery up there, but generally I've got it looking how I want it to look. If I need to go over the white in future, I can always add an extra layer or something, but for now it's looking more or less like the cliffs I had before, which is what I wanted. The track work has been painted up, the rail chairs have been painstakingly painted up, and so now we're going to run some trains for the end of the show. And yeah, I think it's really starting to sort of come together. I'll give you a few shots of it just now, show you what it looks like, and then I'll go through what I'm actually going to do running wise. Yes, that's how it's looking, and I'm going to attempt to do something which I haven't really done on the layout before, which is part of my design, is to do some shunting from the brewery in the far corner to this siding here. So I've got the Peckett over here, and I have some wagons over there, and I'm also going to run a train on the main line as well, in between it, hopefully, and I'm going to try and film it as I go along. The idea is the Peckett's got to come out, then it's got to take those wagons and drop them off to this siding and take these wagons, the new ones that Alex at the desk was looking at, and put them over in the siding. Unfortunately, however, it doesn't have a brake van with it. The brake van is here. So the Peckett is going to have to go out, go around, come here, get the brake van, presumably pick up these wagons while it's doing it, and then take those back to the other corner and pick up those wagons and then bring it back. At least, well, like I said, that's the plan anyways. So I'm going to get on, get these running, and see what we can do. So I'm going to start these off. I've got Stepney and Minories double heading on the teats. Minories is a bit sluggish, which is why Stepney's helping out. I think they just haven't been running in a little while. But we'll get them going properly, and we'll see how it goes. Well, I'm going to need some more practice at shunting, I think. I suppose that's a good place to end this episode, so thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's been a bit of a long one, but we've got a lot of work done, so I'm really happy with how things are turning out. Having a few issues with some of the track, but I'm hoping that a few little blobs of solder here and there might help. It's just a few bits where you kind of have to put pressure on to get a good connection, but hopefully I can solve all that before the next episode. So, yes, thank you once again for joining us down here in Beaglington-On-Sea, and we'll see you again very soon. You've been a wonderful audience, and I hope I've been a wonderful Alex. So, yes, don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe, etc, etc. And don't forget to be getting festive if you're watching this in time. So, yes, I'm off now. And don't forget there's also the subscribe bubble and the playlist thing. Ta-ra.